welcome. I'm Patty. I am an ADHD coach and the host of this podcast. I'm here to support you to tilt that playing field and thrive with your ADHD brain wiring. If you're looking for more support, I invite you to check out my website, ADHD-Friendly. I have a membership offering that is unbelievable and I know that like, as I'm saying, I'm like, oh, get in my head. I'm feeling a little I'm like patting myself on the back, but I really am proud of the offerings that are in there. And the live course is getting ready to go into the second semester. And I'm looking to see when this comes out. Yeah, we'll just started the second semester of the ADHD Friendly University annual course. So we'll be in the spring semester and lots of resources. So the entire winter semester is available on demand, where we really went through how to plan your year and tons of planning tools and dove into lots of on-demand lessons in there and PDF tools you can access. And now we are in the second semester, which is ADHD 101. We're really breaking down some good content to help you to navigate ADHD. So it's great if you have a diagnosis, but you don't quite know what to do with that information. So it's really kind of dialing it back to what is ADHD at its core? How do you support an ADHD wired brain? What tools do you need to support it? And then we kind of dive into some real meaty areas too. So if you want more information, check it out at ADHDfriendly.com. But this week, this is episode 178. I am celebrating. My book is available. You can kind of see it over here on the side if you're watching this on YouTube.
Woo-hoo!
If you're listening, I invite you to check out the YouTube channel because I'm going to be sharing a lot of visuals today. So that is always there for you if you want to see what I'm talking about and demonstrating. I'm also going to update my spending this week. There was some spending, but very intentional spending. So I'm feeling good about it. And then I'm also going to share my ADHD friendly tool for this week. It's kind of a product review and recommendation, or not, depending on how it went. And then we'll dive into our main topic, which is coexisting conditions that are occurring along with ADHD. So I'm going to talk about what that means and what that can look like. And then, as always, I'll highlight my book for the week, keeping up with my reading. So I have a book every week to share. All right. So first, I have my own book to share. I'm debating, Becca, sharing with you. I videotaped myself opening my book when I ordered it. Did I share this video?
No, I think you did show me on your phone.
We're I was so stinking excited. And so it's just 10 seconds, but this is my book. It's Create an ADHD Friendly Personal Owner's Manual. Essentially it's a workbook to get you from what is a POM and how does that work to having an actual personal owner's manual that works for you. I share throughout this, and I always talk about this in all of my work. If you just buy this and expect it to be as it is, a tool that will support you in everything, it's probably not going to do that, but it will get you further along from where you are to where you're trying to get. The key is to customizing it. The keyword is personal. So we have to make it work for us, but it's just so excited. It's full of color.
It's so pretty.
The sections are all divided by color themes. All of the time management tools are in here. There's an example for every tool and then a blank tool. So you have instructions on how to use every tool that's included in here. There's more than 25 ADHD friendly tools and real life examples inside. And stories about, how I came up with the idea for the tool or what I tweaked to make it work better for me as I used it. So lots of information. It's available for $29.95 if you want it printed, physically, or you can just get the digital ebook for $19.95. These are available on my website, ADHDfriendly.com, in the ADHD Friendly shop. And you can also get it on Amazon. So there's lots of places, and somebody told me they saw it on Book Hub, I think. So yeah, lots of places you can find it. I'm super excited. I'm going to talk about this more in episode 180, where we talk all about personal owner's manuals. So I'm going to it a little bit more then, but wanted to highlight it is physically available. I'm so excited. Okay. So what I purchased this week, I purchased 2 of my books.
Woohoo!
So I purchased one from Amazon because I wanted to see if for some reason Amazon's would arrive any faster than ordering it. So this is my self-published book, I should say. And I went through Ingram Spark, which if you order my book is that's how it's printed on demand. So it's only printed as ordered. So there's not going to be a backlog of books that are just sitting around.
Sure.
It's, you know, on demand printing, which I find very friendly. It does take a few days to print because it's not just sitting in a stock room ready to come. So I ordered both of these last Wednesday,
Okay.
and they're still being shipped. So it looks like it'll take, you know, a week or so to
Sure.
arrive, maybe 7 to 8 days. But the ebook, it will come instantly if you order that, and you can print whatever you want. But I personally am a, you know, I like the hard physical copy person, very analog in my tools. But I bought one on each, both from Ingram Spark, the link on my website that takes you there, and I bought it from Amazon. It's a little bit cheaper on my website because there's a decent markup to sell it on any booksellers websites. Like 55% automatically of whatever the purchase price is goes to, and then you still have to pay for the printing. So I think I'm making $1 a copy. Go me. But it's not about the money. It was really just about putting structure around something I've been wanting to do for over a decade, almost a decade now, coming up on a decade, about 9 years now. So super excited that's out there. But I ordered one of each of those just so I could see, do they look exactly the same? Do they come around the same time? How are they packaged when they were? I just want to know as a consumer what that buying experience is like. Yeah. So that's my celebration and what I purchased. So that's one thing. I also purchased, this is my product for the week, Aqua notes. So these are one of my favorite go-to gifts. I put them as stocking stuffers for my family. I will put them in a gift basket for somebody who I know might enjoy a little support around, you know, keeping things from falling off your mental radar list. They're made just to go. They come with these little suction cups on the back. Oops, I just dumped out the pencils. It's just a little waterproof notepad, comes with suction cups. You stick them on your shower door, shower tile. I mean, they don't fall down, they just stay. And they're these nice, very satisfying feeling paper, but it can get wet and it's fine. That's why they're Aqua notes. And then it comes with one blue and one red pencil. And they have like little notes, shower your loved ones with love notes and no more great ideas down the drain. And so I just have, I don't know if my original one came with a red one. I don't remember seeing the red before. Yeah. So I just have the blue pencil and it's up on a sticky next to my notepad. And the funny thing is when we have company here for the holidays, people end up using my shower and people will write on them. And so we get you get in the shower next and there's like a little note and it's just really sweet.
That's
so
fun.
I just love it because I typically write on my hand so I don't forget things. And I remember I discovered this probably again like 7 or 8 years ago. And when I get in the shower, I always pour soap in this hand, and this is the hand I write on because I'm right-handed. And inevitably I'll see a to-do, something written. And so I'm like, and I used to get out of the shower soaking wet to scramble around for somewhere to write it because once I wash my hair, it's gone. So this is a game changer if you tend to have great ideas or you remember things that you don't want to forget. You just write it on your list and take it off when you get out of the shower. You've got your little reminder written down. You can take it with you and you can write it while it's wet. It's great. This is $15.25 on Amazon. Actually, when I first bought these, they were like $9.95. Again, that was like 7 or 8 years ago. But they make nice little gifts for people that tend to think of, you know, really good ideas in the shower or tend to forget things, and it might pop in their brain in the shower because they're not thinking of other things. They're remembering what they may have wanted to do. So that is my product for the week. And so I've shared with you my local knit shop, my connection to so much that has meant an enormous amount to me since I've been living in the Chicago area is unfortunately closing. And so I've had a couple of weeks to get used to the idea of this, and it's definitely like a real loss. But I totally understand the knit shop owner's husband passed away from a very quick and terrible illness, and they just decided to close the knit shop. So
focus on other things.
I've been going in on mostly Saturdays to help just,
Pack up.
help them to, they're running sales now.
Oh, sure.
And so when I went in last weekend, it was the first weekend that they opened since they announced they were closing, and
How busy
everything, it was swamped.
Oh my gosh.
Swamped.
That's so
Now,
nice that you were
they're only open
helping.
on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays through the month of March. So if you live in the Chicagoland area, head on over to Elgin Networks and support them to sell out their supply.
Get some goodies.
There's some good stuff there. So that's what I wanted to share. I can't say what they'll have by the time this airs, because they didn't have much of this kind of stuff when I was still there on Saturday. They sold out like a lot of there's no bags of like one color.
Oh, sure.
Even like one day later when I went on Saturday, when they were open on Friday. But I got this little guy. It's just a little project bag. I love it for like sock projects. I actually got it for my husband, who likes to knit as well, because we've gotten into the show Extraordinary Attorney Woo. Have you heard of it? And she's like obsessed with whales. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's so cute, a little whale project bag. So I got it for my husband, even though I put my socks in it.
You're gonna use it.
I'm gonna use it, but it was a little gift for him. And then there's a little shop right next door to the knit shop that makes pottery and sells tea. And they made a lot of these little yarn pottery bowls, which are just lovely. And it was so funny because I was helping to check customers out, and somebody brought up one of the bowls, and we came in early Saturday morning and kind of tidied the shop, brought out a bunch of stock to get ready for the day, and then just ran around and shopped really quick because we knew once the doors opened, there's already like a line for me. Yeah. So we shopped before the store opened that day. It didn't even occur to me to look at the yarn bowls.
Oh yeah. So
somebody came up and they were like buying, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking yarn.
Exactly.
I was like, kids. So I'm so excited because blue is my favorite color, and it was made by the lovely owners of the shop next door, and I just love it. So I got that guy, Becca. Now they had no more bags, so we like all brought in bags to help, because literally like trash, like kitchen trash bags, we were just filling, because people we're just filling up. Yeah, I mean, like it's like crazy how much yarn was going on.
Are you set now?
So I got like sock yarn. I got a bunch of sock yarn. Like, come on.
How fun are those?
So pretty. I'm gonna make a bunch of socks. These are all socks.
Oh, you're gonna have so much fun with that.
I know that this takes me a while to knit socks, so this will keep me busy. And then I just got a couple of solid colors to like alternate like the heels of the toes. Yeah. And then I was trying to get enough yarn. I bought 5 of these guys because that's all they had.
Oh, just a nice white.
Just white, because I was I'm making a blanket for a gift, and I needed a bunch of different colors. I need white and a couple. I don't want to say the other colors in case the person's listening, and then they'll figure out what I'm making. And but they didn't have anything else, so I'm hoping I can find the other colors. If not, it's okay. That white yarn was very inexpensive, so I'm okay with it. But I spent about $170 on all of this, which is a steal when I look at like how much yarn I have, and
all the goodies you got.
But I had to, because it's literally where I get my yarn, and they're going out of business. So I at least need enough yarn to keep me busy until the day comes I'm going to have to go out and venture. I know, and I just know that's going to be something I'm going to resist. So I allowed myself to get what I knew I would use. So I'm happy to have that, even though I'm sad that the shop is not gonna be there. But hopefully we'll stay connected, because some of my strongest social connections have come from going to the knit shop every week. So it's definitely going to be something I'm going to miss. But I wish everybody, well, and that we'll find ways to keep connecting going forward. Okay, so now to so that was my tool too. My tool for the week was the shower, the Aqua notes. Okay, so now for this week's topic, and that is ADHD plus. So meaning plus other conditions. So ADHD doesn't usually play alone. There's something called comorbidities. That just sounds so technical. His face was like, it's like glaze over. It's like, what?
Oh,
What?
please.
So it is basically co-occurring, coexisting conditions that are diagnosed along with ADHD. So attitudemag.com states that roughly 80% of people with ADHD, with the diagnosis of ADHD, will have a second condition diagnosed at some point during their life.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I saw some, it was really hard because everywhere, it's one of the things I think kind of gets in the way of people believing the research around ADHD is there's so many different numbers out there.
Yeah.
And so like other things like, I'm not 95%. Like, it's like, okay. Let's just say the vast majority of people who have a diagnosis of ADHD will have another diagnosis.
Yeah.
That's going to be impacting them as well at some point in their life. According to Dr. Larry Silver, who is MD, he said coexisting conditions are, and this is his definition, distinct diagnoses that exist simultaneously with ADHD. They do not go away once the primary condition is treated. They require their own specific treatment plan. So if you are diagnosed with ADHD and you are treated for the ADHD, but you continue to have, so these are the most common conditions, anxiety, depression, they'll need their own diagnosis and treatment, if that makes sense. So some of the other most common comorbid conditions are OCD, the obsessive compulsive disorder, ODD, which is oppositional defiant disorder, learning disabilities, executive function difficulties, tic disorders, fine and gross motor difficulties, and language disabilities. I thought you were raising your hand. I was like, okay.
Yep, all of the above.
You, okay. I see you over there. So those are the most common things that are diagnosed along with ADHD. So comorbid conditions are both chronic and pervasive. What that means is they're generally apparent from early childhood, but they can be diagnosed again at any point in your life, but they will occur in every life situation. So you will notice it at home. You will notice it if you're in school, at school. You will notice its impact at work. You will notice its impact in social situations. So it's not just one thing. It's going to be impacting you throughout your situations in your life. Dr. Theresa Cerulli, and I apologize, Theresa, if I pronounced your name incorrectly, shared in an article in Attitude magazine that even if a patient does exhibit symptoms of ADHD, clinicians should still rule out alternative explanations as part of that evaluation. She went on to say that clinicians should assess for comorbid conditions. This is where I have personally found in my life and my kids' experience with ADHD, I always say with things with my brain and my kids' brains, I didn't want to leave that to like a primary care physician. I wanted somebody who specializes in the brain, especially if they're diagnosing medication. So that's just my own personal preference. Not everybody has access to a lot of options. So if all you have is your primary care, your family practice provider, something is hopefully better than nothing, but sometimes they don't have the wealth of information, but sometimes even psychiatrists don't have really the detailed information and the most latest information on ADHD. But there's so many overlapping symptoms that, let's say you come in and you're having extreme anxiety and they treat the anxiety, but they didn't diagnose the ADHD. If the ADHD is what's causing the anxiety, that's not going to take care of it. Right. But if the ADHD is underlying cause and they treat that, then maybe the anxiety also goes away. But if the anxiety is not related to the ADHD, you might need, again, a coexisting condition, you might need additional support. So it's a lot to tease out. And because there is so much similar overlap in them, it's really important to find as experienced a clinician as you can. It's really essential. So the other example I wanted to share that I learned again through my experience raising my kiddos who were impacted by ADHD, some medications, so if they're treating for ADHD, can impact coexisting conditions like OCD. So one of my kiddos has both ADHD and OCD, and the ADHD medication was helping them to focus, but they were focusing on things that they were
hyper focusing on.
Like became like things with OCD that they couldn't. And I was like, this is counter. This is really, really, really diabolical. Or it can also make, if there's a couple of my kiddos have Tourette's, so it can also make Tourette's tics
The tics more apparent.
much more
Yeah.
problematic, the stimulant medication.
Sure.
So sometimes they can't take stimulants.
You
So
just
it's
think
having
about
to,
it.
you know, again, having to tease out what's going on. And I just share those personal examples as just overarching. Again, I am not a medical provider. I am not at all recommending or providing medical advice, just sharing a mom's experience in what this can look like in real life. So attitude.com has a list of physicians that list themselves as therapists, or they also have therapists. They have ADHD coaches in their ADHD directory. So if you go to attitudemag.com, that's ADDITUDEMAG.com, you can check their ADHD directory tab and see the listing of people who actually, you know, took the step to be listed there. But again, you've got to read the details. Just because they're listed there doesn't necessarily mean they have the background or the skill set that you need, but it is a place to maybe see if there's somebody in your area that's listed. You can search by state, so it can be a helpful place just to begin. Okay, now for the book of the week. I feel like we got here really quick. Is this good? Did it go by fast, or was it just because I was talking yarn?
No, it did go by fast.
Yarn is so sparkly to me. I'm like, I lose time. All right, so the book of the week. The book this week is called The Key to My Heart. It's by Leah Lewis.
Ooh,
I gave this a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It's just a lovely little romance.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you the little description here because they do a much better job of summing it up than I do. So, sparkly and charming, Natalie Fincher has it all: a handsome new husband, a fixer-upper cottage of her dreams, and the opportunity to tour with the musical she's spent years writing. But when her husband suddenly dies, all her hopes and dreams instantly disappear. So it's a little sad that, you know, she's going through this, but it was just a really lovely, the way it was told is very lovely. It felt very realistic. The length of time that she was mourning, it didn't stay in that space very long. It kind of picks up, like, I think almost 2.5, almost 3 years later.
Okay.
And so they just kind of like let you know what happened, and this is where she is now, and she's trying to move on with her life. And let's just say she meets a guy that's going to help her to like fix up the cabin and maybe get ready to sell it and that kind of thing. And it's just a nice little like, but not too light. Like sometimes I think of them like the summer beach reads where it's just, you know,
cheesy,
fluffy, you know, and this one had a little bit more substance to it, but still definitely a romance. But it was a good book. I enjoyed it. So I give it 4 out of 5, which is a pretty solid rating for me. All right. Now, finally, a quote of the week. This is from Toni Morrison, author. She says, if there is a book you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it. The same is true for any endeavor. If the solution you seek doesn't exist, create it. Guys, I picked that because that was literally, I remember when I first heard Dr. William Dotson talk about personal owner's manuals. I was at a conference in 2016, and I immediately was like, all right, well, that's great. How do I get it? Where do I buy one? Here we are, 9 years later. I finally was able to put the structure around, you know, I'll make all tools throughout the years too, without really intending to write it. But after I did the course last summer, I was like, I think I'm going to just take all those tools and bundle them up and put them into a manual to get you started. So I did it. And that quote really spoke to me. Look at the table of contents, guys. There's 7 chapters with the tools directly related to the content for each of those chapters. It follows the pattern of my course, which is available on demand in the membership, ADHDfriendly.com. Check out more about the membership. $95 a month. You get everything. It's all included, all the live, all the on-demand, all of the tools, everything. All right, that's it for this week's edition, episode 178. If you want to post anything in the comments, if you try out the Aqua notes or you purchase the personal owner's manual, it's my first book, but I am very proud of it. But would love to hear your thoughts if you give it a try. That's it for this episode. Until next time, tally ho.